All right. Well, let's see. We had what 5 or 6 stops planned here today, and what was it? Been 5, I guess. And turns out 2 of them, the roads were closed out to them, so we didn't make those. But we are here at the Millville Townsite and Petroglyph Discovery Trail, and it turns out that this Millville, we're still close to Tombstone, just like we were at, that's always a lovely thing as you're starting to enter. Oh boy. So back to what I was saying, we are close to Tombstone. So the town here, Millville, became prevalent in the 1870s, I'm sorry, when silver was found in Tombstone. They put 2 stamp mills up in this area, one on each side of the San Pedro River, so apparently they used the river for the power. So the silver from Tombstone would come over here. And on the other side of the river, which was mostly a residential area, was a town called Charleston. Then when the 1880s came along and the silver in Tombstone started to die out, then it became less profitable to run the stamp mills here, so they abandoned the area. So that's Millville. It's about a mile out, I understand. And there's supposed to be petroglyphs along the way. So this is the start out to the Millville Townsite and petroglyphs. So we're just a little ways down the road. This picture is supposed to be Millville in the foreground and Charleston in the background. So not too far into the trail, we come and cross this wash. It's kind of cool looking. So our first decision was whether we go to the Petroglyph site first or the town site. And I think where you see all those tailings up there is where the town was. All right, well, we have come to our first petroglyph area here. Yeah, so these look pretty cool. Got a spiral here. And then down here, there's a human form. I'm not really sure what we have here. You can see they just go all the way down. It looks like maybe some birds over here. Interpretation is always difficult with these. Could be a dog even right here. This one. What does it mean? That looks like a flying saucer to me or something. Oh, I got some up above here too. I'll go up to those. I just see some bear paws. Well, as I was starting to walk up to those bear paws, then on the back of this rock, we've got something. I'm not sure. It's like one of these segmented things that we have seen before. Let's go up and see these bear paws. Yeah. So we have that circle we've always seen with a cross in it. Then we have the bear paws there. I'm assuming bear paws only for the nature of it. How many toes does that have? I think it has 5 toes. Maybe it's human feet. Don't know. I saw this humanoid figure on this rock. Sort of all by itself. Nothing else that I can see on the rock. Yeah, so right behind where I was just showing you the little man, I turned around and looked, and looks like something was there. It's very hard to make it out now, but we'll go on up higher. Well, as you might see here, I've climbed quite a ways up, and I haven't really found any more. This isn't like some of the rock outcrops that we've seen in other parts of Arizona, where they're just covered with petroglyphs. There are some signs up here, but we also have a foundation. So I don't know if I've made it up to part of the town site here. Over there where you see the tops of the cottonwoods must be the actual river. Well, I guess as I walked up the trying to find the petroglyphs, I ended up walking into the town site. Kind of hate to walk down and waste all that energy if I'm up at the town site and I can just kind of continue up. So when I got to the top of the hill with the petroglyphs, they had these 2 big signs, and they talk about Charleston, but we're at Millville. And Charleston is supposed to be the ruins across the river there. Yeah, it's really interesting that all this is about Charleston. Now, the only way to get to Charleston apparently is to kind of scramble through the bramble and on the other side of the river. So maybe that's why they're putting all the information here. And obviously I'm not trying to make it so you can read it. I just want you to be able to see some of the pictures. Apparently all from Charleston. So that's looking down, I guess, from up on one of these hills, maybe where I am, I don't know. That almost looks like our little town we were just at, doesn't it? A little bit, not exactly. So there's Carol and Trigger walking to see if they can find more petroglyphs. And I'll be walking this way and maybe either drop down if they find some, or I don't know. All right, so as I was walking up here, I saw a sign that said this was Gird's House Ruins. And just off the trail over here, there's a rock wall. Well, it goes along here. Maybe that's all it was a retaining wall for his yard or something. Let's go around to the sign and see what it says. Wow, so apparently this was the Gird's home. And it was also the office for the stamping mill. Yeah, so let's go ahead and walk up around here and maybe get an idea of the size of this. Yeah, so it looks like possibly this was the foundation, the end of the house. I think we're up inside the house and the office right here. That rock wall we were looking at earlier and the signs were just down over this hill here towards the river. So I guess I'm going to head down here. We have one more stop and I'm sure we can get to it. It's more of a landmark spot than anything else. And it'll probably be the last stop today before we boondock. Well, as it turns out, it probably would have been easier to walk here, I think, than to drive. It didn't take 5 minutes. Basically, we got on the road and drove about, I don't know, half a mile. So we are at the site of the Battle of the Bulls. In 1846, December 12th, the Mormon Battalion came into this area and thought this would be a great place to camp for the night with the river right down here. But what turned out was they got attacked by a large herd of free roaming bulls. So it ended up that 3 of their mules were gored to death. A bunch of their wagons were overturned. But they did end up killing 9 bulls. And as Carol made a comment, they probably had a great barbecue that night. But it was apparently their first major battle of their campaign. They came up from Mexico, did you say, Carl?
The border.
The border, came up from the border. But also here at the site of the Battle of the Bulls is the Charleston Bridge. This might be the original bridge that went over to the town of Charleston, the one that was across the river from Millville. Yeah, so here's a view down the river where the Battle of the Bulls took place. Absolutely gorgeous. So we are on a road that was too far, I guess, from the Fairbank Townsite. We have no idea where the road's going. We don't really want to camp under these power lines.
However, there's a good spot right there. And right here.
Oh, this is next to the corral.
There's no one in the corral.
Go out past the corral. I mean, but are we like still too close to the road? That's always the discussion of, you don't want to be so close to the road that people know you're here.
See, there's a fire pit right there.
Might be more level here. I'm going to go up the road a little ways though. All right, see you guys later. So we did change Boondock Spots since we last left you. I didn't really like being so close to the power lines. Gorgeous mountains behind us. We're getting a very nice sunset. So yeah, we're on Arizona State Trust land here with our permit. Carol and Trigger there. And again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.